Now I want to talk about the test setup for the ABC functions of this watch. I want to give you the most accurate and real information as I can. So I'm going to use the watch, of course, which I'm going to test the altimeter, the barometer, the compass, and also the temperature sensor. Then I'm going to use also this. This is a bike computer. It's a Wahoo or a Wahoo, as you want to call it. Element or Elemnt, Bolt, weird names, but still made it, and it's really a good one. It's well rewarded one, so it's relatively accurate and really a nice tool. But this is for biking, but I wanted to have something extra as well. I am going to use the compass application in the smartphone. I use Android, so I'm going to show you what application I used. Here you can see a screenshot of the application, which is called the compass. Then also for the weather, so for the temperature and the pressure, I'm going to use the AccuWeather application. Here you have a screenshot for this application, which is really well known as well. Then for the altimeter, I'm going to use my elevation app. Also here is a screenshot of this application. And also this is for the smartwatch functions. But then I'm going to use also this band, and this little band, which is a GARMIN Vivosport, has GPS integrated. With this one, I can sadly not see the results in the band, but it will record all the GPS data in the smartphone through the application from Garmin. So this is really surprised me. Not from now. I also have this long ago. As you can see, it's a bit worn out, but this is really cool. And you will see that maybe this will take, or maybe this will steal the show. Just tell me if you would like to see a review about this one. This is something that really blew my mind. You will see in the results in the conclusion part. What else I used? Of course, this little compass button. It is not the best, but it is really, yeah, it's cheap and nice to have. And you can put it like this. Oops. You can put it like this through the band of your watch. Of course, this one is a G-schock, so it has a really thick band, but the idea is that you push it through just like that. I don't want to break it. Then you push it all the way up here. And that's how I also measured the direction with the compass. That's it for the setup. I try to put everything in a way that I don't influence it, especially when measured temperature. I attached this watch to my backpack on the outside to the strap, so I didn't touch it. The same for this thing that also measures temperature, which is really nice to have. So then, please enjoy this experience. So let's start then with the AccuWeather app. As you can see, it's updated to 4:34 p.m. and it's showing a 1 degree Celsius. Let's see what the ProTrek is showing. We have 5.9 degrees Celsius and the GPS is showing 9 degrees Celsius. Something to consider is that I left my place around 10 minutes, so this was before with room temperature, and you can see how fast they are adapting. In this regard, the ProTrek is faster than the GPS. So let's continue then with the elevation. As you can see, I am using my elevation app and I have an altitude of 364 meters. My ProTrek here is showing me 580 meters, which is really off. And this GPS doesn't have this function here, at least, but it will show you the difference in elevation. So I am also using my GPS from Garmin, and I will record this in the software and then we can check the results to compare. One thing that we can use with this ProTrek is to reset the altitude or to calibrate it, let's say. So we're going to press this one. And then we can set it back to what the application is saying so we can see the differences. So I will set this to 364. I cannot because it has 5 meters intervals. So I will leave it like this, and then we can check it later. One of the other functions of the watch is to measure pressure. As you can see, this weather application is showing me a pressure of 1000 hectopascals, and this watch is showing me 995. Of course, this application is not measuring the pressure on the spot, which this watch is doing. So we should also consider this in order to evaluate this result. So as you can see, I am in the middle of the woods now with really tall trees, and also cloudy. So we are going to proceed with the measurements with the compass. Here this GPS, I don't know why it's showing a bit off the north. Then we have here an application on the phone showing a direction of 122 degrees southeast. And then here on the bottom we have a bottom compass, and as you can see it's between east and southeast. This little arrow that you see on the top, I try to put it in the same direction so you have an idea what it's showing. And then we have the ProTrek, so we're going to go to the compass mode, and then you have in this case 113 or 12 degrees. And there is a huge difference because you have to be really careful when you change the position. If you don't keep it really horizontal, then you can read the measurement in a bad way. So let's try that again. So then we have 190 degrees versus 122, and you can see also it's showing the north in this direction, and you have a comparison with the bottom compass here. Very similar, these two, and also this one. So as I said before, you should be really careful when you're using the compass. Any compass whatsoever that rely on magnetism, you have to be aware of the position that has to be perfectly horizontal or as good as you can set it. Otherwise you can read accurate as it is now, or if you tilt it, you can see that the values goes really bad. As you can see the exaggeration. Now I'll try to put it horizontal, and it should be better. Okay, let's continue. Okay, now I'm going to measure the temperature as I arrive to the top of the mountain that I wanted to get. And as you can see, the AccuWeather application is updated and it's showing 2 degrees Celsius with a real feel of -4. Let's check the ProTrek. We have 0.4 degrees, and this GPS is showing 1 degree Celsius. If you ask me, it feels around 0 degrees, so I say that the ProTrek is really accurate in comparison to the GPS, but both are within tolerances, I would say. Alright, so we are still at the top of the mountain. As you can see, I am on an altitude with 491 meters with the app from the tablet, my elevation. And as you remember, we started with 365. So let's see now with the ProTrek. It's showing 495. So really good accuracy, I would say. 495 versus 491. And this GPS is showing not the altitude, but the difference, as you can see, is 123 meters. So when you add 365 to 123, you get an altitude of 488 meters. So 488 for the GPS, 495 for the ProTrek and 491 for this application, which uses GPS and internet. And as you can see, it's partially clouded, so you can also take that into consideration. So another variable that we wanted to measure was pressure. As you can see, we have 1002 with the AccuWeather app, and the ProTrek shows 980 hectopascals. You have to remember that the ProTrek has a pressure sensor, so it measures the pressure on the spot, while the application is only telling you according to the data for the city or for the area in which you are. So here we are at the end of the tour, finally. As you can see, the time, many hours have passed, and as you can see, the altitude with the My elevation app is showing 363 meters, so it is 2 meters less than what it showed before. So you can see the error, yeah, it's jumping a bit. And let's see then what the ProTrek is showing. We have 360 meters the altitude right now, and yeah, the GPS is not showing anything because it only shows the difference in altitude. But as you can see, this one came back more or less to the same altitude as before. You have to remember that this measures in increments of 5 meters, so it's really accurate, I would say. So to continue then with the end of the test, we see the temperature of around 1 degree in this spot, or what the AccuWeather app is showing, and a pressure of 1002. And this we can see in the ProTrek. We can go to the barometer. We can see the temperature 0.9 degrees, and this is reading the pressure. We have to give it some time. Perhaps press it again. You have to think that these devices or the sensors are built in, of course, and when you have these really low temperatures, and we were exposed for these temperatures to around 2 hours or so, then for sure the sensors are pushed into their capabilities. So we see here 995, so really close to what the app is showing. And yes, let's see the temperature on this GPS is showing 0 degrees. So both really accurate in temperature, and in the case of the ProTrek, we have the pressure also really accurate. As you can see, the temperature increasing because I'm touching it from the bottom, but before was showing the accurate one. All the time that I was measuring all of these things, the watch was kept in my backpack on the side, so I was not touching it, and the same for the GPS. So everything is yeah, I try to not make any errors in the measurements, so in order not to influence any parameters. So then let's go back to the review. Welcome back. Yes, I know that you see the time and the date because I recorded the other things in the field yesterday. So, welcome back to the future. What is about quality? Well, this watch as a whole is a really good quality watch. I have this for 3 years or so, and it never let me down. Easy as that. And I never took proper care of it. Like, it was not something that I would be worried not to damage it or something like this. I just put it on my wrist and took many hikes, many walks with it in the nature, through a rain. It got wet, it got dirty. I just washed it and keeps going. The battery is really good. As I said, maybe sometimes it went to medium, but it never affected any functions of the watch. So that's really nice. The one thing that maybe I don't like so much is the band. As you can hear, this rattling, it is normal, perhaps it's not something that I would say I don't have this watch because I cannot take that rattling. It is not like this, because even this one, this is the Orient Ray. You can see how it rattles. Of course, this is not the premium watch, but it's really nice for the price. If you want me to make a review, please let me know. But yeah, this something can be a bit noisy when you are walking. I mean, perhaps doesn't have to be. That's when this closed. Yeah, it doesn't rattle much like this, but of course, if it is loose, then you can hear it. So this is something that I don't like so much. And as you can see now, when I want to open this band doesn't let you put your fingernail through. It's so close. I don't know, if you're a guy with short fingernails like me, then it's really hard to open. It's really stiff. So I suffer every time. I just grab it with my finger, not with the fingernail, because then it's not that I'm afraid I will break my nail, but it really hurts. It's not nice to do. And every time that you want to wear it or take it out, then you have to go through that. It's not so nice. So this is something that is minimum. Of course, it's not something like I wouldn't buy this watch because of this. You can find this watch also with a plastic band or a resin band. That Casio also makes it with it. But then all of this is black to match the band. But the band of the Casios, I never had good experiences with them. They always end up breaking. And for this watch, if you have to change the band, or if you want a reliable watch and you have to worry that the band will cut when you're in a trip, and then you lose the watch or you cannot use it anymore, then it's not reliable there. So that's why I chose this metal titanium band. Something that you can tell about the titanium that is really easy to be scratched. Maybe you can see by the reflection there. So for sure, this is not something that you would wear, or if you want to, of course, with suits or something like this. It's more of a utility watch, which I take every day because I really love it. And it looks really cool too. It's a cool factor in it. But this also happens with any watch. So you can see this metal one. Also I have this for many years, never let me down. But you can see that also scratches, and I think it's normal and it adds character. Like, yes, I will use this to go and hike many mountains, and it never let me down. So it's a good thing to have. So that's about the quality things. Again, these buttons are not so nice, but you can get used to this. It's not like when you press it with your fingernail, then you can see how it works. The other thing I have to test is the light. Okay, I will do this next. Yeah, that's it about this. I don't think that has so many weaknesses that you could say, yeah, I will not take this one because of that. I think it's a really good watch and takes a beating and keeps going. So perfect, Casio. Okay, then let's try to make a conclusion if we can. Can we? Of course we can. So what about the price? We need that information. I will put the price right here where you can find it, because I bought this watch 3 years ago and I paid around 200 euros. It's a bit pricey if you think like this, but when you see the functions that it has and the construction is made of titanium, and of course it's not full titanium, it's just the exterior part here. It's not like solid titanium, so don't be fooled. And this is also plastic here, but it looks nice. This one is plastic, as I said before. This is the band is titanium. Plate is not full. Maybe you can see there. But regardless, it's a really good watch. I mean, it's really dependable. You don't have to worry about battery life because you have the solar panel and you don't have to charge it. I used to have a smartwatch before and I sold it back because, having to charge your watch every 3 days, even 3 days, which is considered a long time, with this one, you can go on a trip and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about breaking it because you have this bezel that will protect it. It has mineral glass, which can be scratched in comparison to sapphire. Maybe that, you can say it is harder, but also sapphire breaks easier than mineral glass. So I prefer mineral glass, and you have all the functions that may be needed for everyday life. And it is kind of like a Victorinox or a Swiss Army knife. This is a champ. Tell me if you want me to review this one, please. I would gladly do so. And it's like having also like a flashlight on your pocket. This is a Phoenix LD01. I want to do a review about this because also, as you can see, I have this for 11 years. I was thinking the other day, and it still works perfectly. It's amazing. It's on the same battery. No, of course not. But the quality is so nice. So I believe this kind of watches what represents to me either G-schock or the ProTrek, in this case, this one in particular, because of the quality that you have, the durability, dependability, and many abilities that you get with this watch. Let's say you are hiking or you are trekking and you are getting late, and then you press this button and you see, how much daylight I have, and you can see that the sunset is going to be at 17 hours. So you are at 15 hours. You have 2 hours daylight, and then you can plan accordingly. You want to know in what direction you have to go. Perhaps you don't need a map to do this, but if you're coming in this direction and then you want to go back in that direction again, then when you're coming, then you turn around and then you aim this compass. So you have to go to this first and to the main modus. You put the compass, and yes, it is, of course, depends on how much you tilt it, but when you have a good sense of what horizontal is like, and I guess it's really easy to do, then okay, I have to go in 347 degrees, 44, egal. So you put it like this, and then you go on your trip, and then when you are kind of lost and you say, in what direction I should go, 344, then you put it back, and then in which direction you should go. Something like this for everyday life, that perhaps even when you're in the city, it is useful to have a compass. So also with the barometer, you can predict when the weather is going to get better, when it's going to get worse. With the altimeter, you can measure difference in elevation and so on and so forth. And the alarms, and I don't want to do the review again at the end. So this is one of my favorites. I prefer to other watches that I have. And I use it daily, even to go to the office and to work. So I hope that you like this review. I'm sorry if it was too long. I'm not sorry, but I hope that you enjoy it at least. I really like doing these reviews. So please, if you like it too, give it a like, subscribe, and please turn on the notifications so you can know when I upload another video. Also, if you want to recommend it, if you want to share it, please do so, and we will see how it goes in the future. So with this, I hope that you have a really nice day, and I'll catch you in the following videos.